Hi Pisces, thanks for joining me. This is your January reading. So we're figuring out what January has in store for you. So let's dive right into the cards. Important messages does Spirit have for you? What messages are your spirit guides, your spirit team, angels, ancestors trying to communicate to you at this time? Letting you know what's coming up for you in January. This one flipped right over. Balance. There's a need for balance. Okay. Ooh, options. Options for you. Balancing your time, balancing your finances, making sure that you're not giving too much of yourself in the relationship, but also making sure that you're not taking too much from, if you're in a relationship, that you're not taking too much too. Making sure that you're giving as much as you're receiving. Because there is definitely a guarded feeling. You have the 9 of Wands here, 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. Watch out for temptation for sure. Watch out for, say this is an example. You're in the store, you find something that you absolutely love. You only have $100 in your bank account. You know that you have a electric bill due that is $80 and what you want to buy is $30. Ain't happening. Don't fall into that temptation. Take care of what you need to take care of first, and then the rest, deal with it that way. So making sure that you are guarding yourself from these potential temptations. If you know that there's a certain store that you go in that you spend way too much money in, avoid it for this month maybe. If you know that communicating with somebody specific usually leads to feelings of maybe not so good feelings, or that it never usually ends up, the road that it leads down, the path that it leads down never usually goes to a very good place. Maybe don't communicate with them in the month of January. Put the wall up there. You've worked too hard to get to where you are to just kind of throw it all away. It's definitely a need for balance. There is a 9 of Pentacles. So it feels like there might be a little bit of a focus on getting our finances in order. Workflow. I'm hearing workflow. And also, if you're a mom, an emphasis on spending time with your children rather than spending money on your children. Sometimes as parents, this is a message that I'm getting for some of us. It's not going to resonate with everybody, but if you are a Pisces and you tend to work, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I barely spent any time with my kids. Make sure that you take a moment, instead of buying your kids a present and being like, oh, I'm so sorry for spending so much time at work, instead of saying buying them a gift to show your love and affection, spend time with them. Do something with them. Paint a picture with them. Color in a coloring book with them. Watch a movie, something like that. That's really the message that I'm getting with that. Judgment. Don't judge yourself too harshly. If there's something that you have done or said recently that maybe wasn't depicting you in the best light, that maybe you're like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, don't be too hard on yourself. There's an element of needing to say sorry too. If you feel like, you know what, maybe I should say sorry about this. I wasn't feeling good. I'm still upset with this person, but I'm going to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings by saying this. I'm sorry that I said it in this way. I could have said it in a different way. It could have been a lot nicer. So there's that. Let's see what the bottom of the deck is. The Death card. There's some type of death and rebirth going on here. Transformation. And maybe you're owning up to your shit, you know? Maybe this death and rebirth is the end of you caving into certain temptations. Maybe it's the end of you working so hard to get yourself to a certain point and then kind of blowing it, or giving too much of yourself away. Maybe it's the end of maybe taking so much love from somebody else and maybe not giving it back as much as you could. Maybe it is the end of working overtime at work and not spending enough time with your friends or family. Maybe it's the end of judging yourself too harshly, or even judging others, because we all walk our own paths. We cannot understand what somebody else is going through because we don't walk in their shoes. But there's definitely a transformative energy, and I don't have any swords here, but it doesn't maybe necessarily feel like a change in mindset as much as like physically implementing those changes. Like, you know what you need to do, but it feels like a physical implementation of all the things. So hopefully that makes sense. Now I want to see what the overarching theme is for the month of January for you. What is the overall theme that we want to be hitting on here? Okay. Knight of Swords, Ace of Swords, clarity. We've got a lot of clarity. See, and that I said we don't have swords here because it felt like there was a lot of clarity. Oh, it's almost all swords. Okay, Seven of Cups again. Temptation, temptation, temptation. Please protect yourself, especially if you have certain addictions, certain tendencies that you fall into. Maybe it's a time of year. Maybe it's in stressful situations. There's the Ten of Swords and the Five of Swords. Some of you might have been through some crap, you know. This is kind of like, I give up. I, have put in so much effort and time into this specific thing, and I just keep getting dragged down and worn down, and I can't take it anymore. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of the bickering. So this could be giving up on a relationship, on a job, on, falling into, this is what I would say would be kind of like falling into the temptation. Something triggers you. Also hearing triggers. Some of you might feel triggered in the month of January. However, you're recognizing, I'm feeling triggered right now. So how am I going to respond to this? Am I going to fall into past patterns? No. At the beginning of January, beginning of 2022, I made this decision that I am no longer going to fall into past patterns. I am leveling up. There's a sense of leveling up. There's this Knight of Swords. It's like, I'm going to run. I'm going to rush into my healing. I'm going to fight this battle, run right towards it. I know I need this healing. There's a lot of clarity. There's two bald eagles here. There's a lot of support from your guides and your spirit team. You have a lot of support here. So if you're not feeling supported by people in your life, know that your angels are with you. And there might be one specific person, even if there's one person that you can reach out to, that maybe knows what you're going through. They might have similar issues, but they're in the same mentality that you're in. It might be a good idea to reach out to them at this time. The bottom of the deck, we have the Justice card. So definitely being aware of that karmic cycle, that if we choose to fall into certain patterns at this time, that karma will come back, like justice will be served. So being mindful of the choices that we make, making choices that come from a heart-centered place. Is what I'm doing, does it feel good? Or is what I'm doing, does it make me feel bad? So overarching themes, clarity, lots of clarity coming through. setting up your borders or your walls to protect yourself from temptations, things that might be coming through. A sense of kind of just being done with something or over something. But you have that mental clarity to back up those feelings with implementing certain things in your life to push you through that, propel you through whatever you're going through at this time. So I'm going to see if there's any last messages. Whoa, there's a lot here. Any last messages? Okay, I'm going to try and group these. I don't normally take all of these, but it felt, wow, it felt really important at this time. Okay, yeah, definitely for some of you, focus on work. We have 8 of Pentacles and 10 of Pentacles. Some of you are going to be diving into your work, really focusing on something. That might be part of what keeps you out of trouble. You know, if I work these overtime hours, I'm not going to be going to the bar. If I put myself on this schedule of doing things at specific times, it's going to keep me out of trouble. It's going to keep me, or maybe not even out of trouble, but it's going to keep me on the right path. It's going to keep me from being tempted to fall away from my daily meditations or whatever. You know, maybe I'm going to be waking up at 5 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. That way I can fit in my morning meditation. I'm coming up with a schedule. So some of you, schedules are going to be important for the month of January. We have some Wands energy here, the Page of Wands, the 10 of Wands, the 8 of Wands. There's some important information coming through for some of you at this time that's going to propel you forward. This is like one last push forward. Some of you, where it might have felt like this 9 of Swords, we had the 10 of Swords earlier. It's also showing up as a 3 of Swords. Maybe some of that like giving up energy. Maybe we said some things that we didn't mean to say. Could have been a little bit cutting. We have the Queen of Swords here. Sometimes in reverse, she says things that she might regret. Yeah. Page of Swords. But we're starting to go through this process, this clarity, where we're learning how to speak our truth and communicate in an effective way. In an effective way. Communicate effectively. There we go. That made it simpler. Feels like for some situation where we might have felt like, you know what, I'm done. It feels like this one last push forward. You know, I realize that I'm not perfect. I need to change too, as well as other people. There's things that other people need to work on. But this recognition of self, coming back to yourself feels really important here. Information, news, communication, could be a message on Facebook that you get, notifications, something is going to be coming into you for learning about something that's going to kind of propel you forward. Maybe that's somebody else apologizing to you and you forgiving them, you know? Maybe they've done something to wrong you and they're like, you know what, I'm really, really sorry. And the way I handled that was not okay. And I'm going to do better moving forward. But then they show you that they're doing better. Element of forgiveness. One last push forward. This is only going to resonate for some of you. That's fine. And then we have some of this Cups energy as well. The 10 of Cups, the 4 of Cups, the 9 of Cups. It is beautiful energy. There seems to be more emotional fulfillment because you have that clarity coming in now. There's emotional fulfillment because you're recognizing how you're feeling in that moment, choosing how you're going to react to your triggers, and yeah, meditation sounds like it's important for some of you, even if it's just 5 minutes. And meditating for clarity specifically for the month of January. Yeah, beautiful energies here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all have a beautiful month of January, Pisces, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye.